Turn it off.
Hey Ryan, John Kine. You saw that when you heard that Alex is able to take some 11 on 11 reps. I know you're in shells and all that, but what kind of a step was this for him?
It was a very big step because again, it's back to football. 11 on 11, bodies around you a little bit more. Sure, we were in shells today, but just the fact that he was doing something with 11 guys on the field at the same time, I think is a big step in the direction that we all want to head. So we'll see how things unfold. We'll see how he feels tomorrow, and we'll go from there.
So would you like to see him this week in a full 11 on 11 as you get ready to now? Because now you're looking at roster stuff and game preparation. Would you like to see him this week in a full 11 on 11 situation?
Yeah, I'm smirking because that sounds like a J.P. Finley question, trying to get direct answers. Yes, I would though. I would, and again, it's really just to gauge his confidence in himself. It's an opportunity for us to gauge where he is in terms of his total movements with 11 players on the field on both sides. So we'll see how it goes, and the hope is that in the next few days we can just continue to progress with him.
Thank you.
John, excuse me. Oh gosh, I was thinking of John. You talking? My bad, Ron. Um, in terms of JD, because you said that you guys had some certain sets for him yesterday. Um, he's one of those players, but like, what are some other players that are on the offense where you guys feel like you can have some certain sets for them? I've seen some stuff with Steven Sims, like some of the jet sweeps and things of that nature. What are some players that you guys have identified as saying, yeah, we really want to have Cole on there?
Well, Rihanna, when it comes to that, we're talking about situational football. I mean, the playbook is what the playbook is. There is a group of plays for the position. The guys that are in those positions, those are the guys that we have mapped out and said, okay, this is a pool of plays for that position. Whether we call the position the X, the Z, the F, the Y, the U, or the H, those are the plays that are for it. Now, when JD comes into the game, situational football, there is a set for his specific position. With guys like Steven Sims and the tight end position with Logan, Terry. There's plays that are designed for that position, but when those guys are specifically in that position, you'll see those plays. So to answer your question in a roundabout way, we do have them. We do have them for specific guys, but we also do have them for the specific position itself.
Thank you, Ron. And then this is just me being kind of curious. You guys had a fullback. Well, you guys had a couple of fullbacks down in Carolina, but I see you guys using the tight ends in that position.
Yes.
What kind of factored into your decision to use a tight end as opposed to bring in an actual fullback?
Well, we had an actual fullback. I apologize for not remembering his name. That was on our roster, but he decided to move on. So because of that, and not really feeling good about any of the other guys that were out there, in terms of working a contract out, we decided that we could do the same thing with tight ends, which we've done in the past. We did it in Carolina. We had the tight end play what we call the F position, which is fine. Chris Manhurst did that for us a number of years. Alex Armour is kind of a hybrid tight end fullback guy that did it for a number of years as well. So we had guys that fit that description. They just happen to be what we call tight ends or Ys.
Thank you, Ron.
Mm-hmm.
Ron, in these last few days of camp and in the final week before roster cuts, what specifically are you looking for from players to make that final decision for the initial 53?
Well, the first obviously is who are our top 35, 40 players, and then who are the primary rotational backup guys, and then who fills out the rest of the roster. That's what we're trying to determine right now. What we're looking at, based on certain things, is do guys belong in a rotation? Guys that belong in rotations are guys that definitely going to make the football team. Primary backups, those are guys that definitely got an opportunity to make the football team. And then those guys that are special teams players and specialists, they'll make it if they stand out. That's what we're looking for, and we're trying to watch those things very closely. The hard part obviously will be with special teams. Trying to determine that. But the thing that you're looking for with those guys like there is, do they separate themselves in practice from the rest of the herd? You know what I'm saying? From that rest of group of guys, is this guy standing out as a special teams player? From that group of positional players, for instance, linebackers, is that fifth, sixth, or seventh guy standing out from the rest of the guys. Is that why that guy gets an opportunity to make the football team? That's what we're looking for, is guys that separate themselves from the rest.
Have any players separated themselves so far and surprised you in doing so?
Yeah, there's a few. There's a couple of guys that we like, and again, we'll see what happens in the next few days. We've mapped out a couple things in practice for the next few days. You guys will see it tomorrow, to try and give us an opportunity to determine, who's standing out, who's separating.
Hey Ron, I was curious about Monday's practice at the stadium. With it being pushed back a couple days, are you guys altering your plans? And I know before you were just gonna play in shells, but
No, actually, as I said, tomorrow really will be the kind of thing that you guys will be looking for. So you guys will see it tomorrow. But we're sticking to the plan on Monday. Monday's really, it'll be a shelled practice. It's really more about the operations, more so than anything else. So everybody gets comfortable at the stadium. One thing that we've always noticed in the past is that when you do practice at the stadium, the first time you're in there, the velocity, everything ramps up, and coming out of pads, you typically get a few injuries that you really don't want, but it happens because they're in the stadium, they're fired up. The intensity level spikes. Excuse me, I get a little excited about that. The intensity level gets a little bit, spikes a little bit, and you have to be careful. And really, that's kind of what we're doing. So we're really looking at the operations on Monday to make sure we're comfortable. We understand where we need to be on our own field. We'll work the coaches up in the boxes so they get used to the communications. We'll do our pregame warm up like we would during a regular season game. So we're really trying to map that out when it comes Monday. But again, as I said, tomorrow will be an important day as far as us as coaches judging our football team.
and then with everything that a rookie center has to learn, how do you think Keith Bismail has adapted to that?
He's done a nice job. We put a lot on Keith. We've had him not just playing the center position, but playing both guards. Again, we talk about position flex, and he's showing that he can do both things. He's made some mistakes and he's had some mental breakdowns at times, but with the amount of volume we've put on him, he's handled it very well.
Hey Ron, just to piggyback on Nikki's question about what you're maybe looking for some of the final roster decisions. Obviously, with this very unique year that we're all dealing with, how do you think veterans potentially have an edge up in some of these final cuts over these younger players?
They will, and that's the unfortunate part, is that you have to really be honest. You have to be really thoughtful, and you have to be able to go back to the moments that you created during practice situations to see, in comparison. But I have a feeling that people will tend to lean towards the veteran because they know what they have. They know that they've had a tried player that's been through these moments.
And you mentioned Alex at the top, and obviously you said it was a big step, but there's still steps to go. He's been running as essentially the second quarterback all this time and reps behind Dwayne. Does that mean anything at this
No.
point? As opposed to him being anywhere else in that rotation?
No, you could have put him with the first group, the second group, or the third group. That doesn't matter. That doesn't play into it. Right now, this is really about just finding out where Alex is.
Thanks.
Hey, Ron. Antonio Gibson seems to really be asserting himself kind of as a running back. And for a while, the conversation was running back and receiver. How do you view his role in the offense this fall? Has he kind of decided where he's going?
No, we have a plan for him. I know we haven't shown you guys the whole plan, and that's part of the secret that we're trying to keep going into the regular season. But Antonio is a very versatile young man, solid football player. And I told you guys the other day, we've put a lot on his plate. We really have, and he's handled it very well. We'll continue to do that. We'll continue to do things that we're gonna try and put him in the best position to help us. Try to put him in position to have success as a football player. And there is a lot that we can do with a young man like him.
And then another rookie named Antonio Gandy Golden missed practice today. I saw him leave the field yesterday with a trainer. Not asking about the injury, but just how do you think his progression has been for a rookie trying to get on the field when there hasn't been an offseason? He needs this work? How is he doing so far?
He's doing well. He's a bright young man. He understands the game. He knows the nuances. His biggest thing obviously will be about learning and understanding and growing into his role. He's got a good skill set. It fits what we want to do. We believe we know where we can use him and utilize his skill set. So, he's a guy that's just got to continue to learn and grow.
And did you want to provide an injury update on that one?
Yeah, he got hurt yesterday. Nothing serious. Just be a matter of time before we get him back out on the field.
Thank you.
All right.
Hey Ron, I'll try and be more vague with this. We've had a couple weeks now to sort of watch you coach in these practices, and you had a couple fiery moments early. I'm not sure I've always seen those since then, and I was kind of wondering, when you're like that, is that in the moment?
Yep.
Sometimes is that strategic?
No, I will do things. I will do things when I believe they're appropriate, and so whether they're in the moment or they're strategic, but they are always heartfelt. There's. I'm not trying to be animated for the thrill of it. I'm trying to make sure I get a point across to our young men about the things that have to happen in terms of giving us an opportunity to become a good football team. And the other thing too I've learned is you don't do it all the time, because eventually it begins to fall on deaf ears. So when I do it to make a point, to get a point across.
Yeah, because I was kind of wondering, since you played for Dicka and Buddy Ryan, who kind of sometimes could deliver fire, I wondered if any of those guys ever that stuck with you, or
Oh yeah.
your style's your own. But
Oh yeah, but your style is your own, and if you're genuine, the players will know, and if you're fake, they'll know.
thanks.
Let's go Pete, Chris, and Sam.
Morning, Ron. I appreciated when you made fun of JP earlier, though. By the way. When it comes to Dontrell Inman, has he shown you enough in this brief time that he's been with the team that he can be someone you rely on offense?
Well, he's shown us that he's right there in that conversation as we continue to go forward. He's done a nice job. He's a veteran guy that's done a lot of good things. But one of the things that does catch my eye is how he handles and works with our young guys. He's put his arm around AGG and the other guys, and has really talked with them about how to go forward, how to approach it as a pro. So Dontrell's been a welcome addition, and again, he's competing just like everybody else.
And when it comes to left guard, it was a lot of Wes Martin early on, but now it seems like Garnett's getting in there. There's a little more rotating. Is that kind of indicative of you still need to see what you have in that position?
Most certainly. You don't want to make you don't want to, like the people say, you don't want to go ready, fire, aim. You want to make sure you get a chance to really think about the decision you make before you decide. And so we've really kind of thought about it, worked through it, and kind of said, you know what, let's continue to work these combination of guys and really find the best combination, and we'll go from there.
Thank you.
Two more.
Hey, Ron, good morning. Just following up kind of on what Pete just asked about with the guard position, and specifically a guy like Schweitzer, who's missed so much more camp, because he's a veteran.
Yep.
In the league. Does that put him in a better position, having missed as much time as he has, than say a rookie like Sadiq, and can he fit in more, I guess, seamlessly now that he's back apparently according to the pool?
Yeah, most certainly, and that's that's some of the benefits, having been in the league for a number of years and having had success. We know what you're capable of. Really, he came in, he was in great shape, he was doing some good things, and then he got nicked, and he had to step aside for a few days. Now he's back. We'll get him going again, and we'll see how he responds.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Finish it up with Sam.
Hey, Ron, you mentioned earlier that we're going to see some stuff tomorrow in terms of what you guys want to see from the end of the roster, guys. I wonder, what should we look for, or can you give us any hints?
Just really the competition, how they compete against one another. Again, it's something that we have to do. We talked about it earlier when you guys asked, and we have to create these types of moments, and get them as close as we can to live action football as possible, and yet not get anybody hurt. So we have to do this, and we have to do it very, very smart.
And a week ago, you said you wanted to see some of your receivers step up. Obviously, we've talked about a couple of them so far, but I wonder if you have seen what you needed to see from that position group.
I think we're seeing what we want to see, but we are seeing what we do need to see. We are seeing some of these guys start to separate themselves. We are seeing some of the guys start to understand, and that's a big part of it. Is again not having the type of off season you would like, there's a lot of these guys that are just starting to get it. You're starting to see the light bulb go on, and you're starting to see them play faster. And that to us is indicative of guys that are beginning to understand and know what they're supposed to be doing on the football field, and that bodes well for them, and for us for that matter.
All right. Thanks,
Cool.
everybody.